Garage stuff. Today is the 8th of April 2026, and today's topic is if you're going to buy a new laptop, warning. I have become aware that some retailers are now selling laptops that look really nice, but they only have 4 gigabytes of internal memory in them. Do not buy a laptop that only has 4 gigabytes of internal memory. Most all laptops sold today are for Windows. Now, if you buy one from some other operating system, maybe 4 gigabytes will do you. But 4 gigabytes literally is going to be all eaten by Windows itself, meaning you have little or no space left for any sort of application, including Word or email or any application. Windows eats literally all of 4 gigabytes of memory just coming up and being alive and staring at you saying, "What do you wanted me to do?" It takes 4 gigabytes to do that. Do not buy a laptop that only has 4 gigabytes on it. Now, in this case, one came in for me to look at because it kept getting the message, low memory. And I said, that's not possible. That the way the thing is set up, if it gets short of memory, it does certain things to handle that situation. I was wrong. I have never seen this occur before, but it does occur on Windows 11 where you only have 4 gigabytes of memory, and even with a large page file, people know what that is. It still gets a low memory warning and can bog down and be slow doing anything. Do not buy 4 gigabytes. Now, most PCs built today can be upgraded. They do have, unlike Apple, where you absolutely know from the get-go that you buy one with 64 gigabytes of storage on it, they call it storage. There's no way to upgrade that. You stuck with what you bought and get what, and that's usually sufficient for most anybody. Or they sell them with 128 gigabytes or even 256 gigabytes of memory or storage. But whatever you buy, that's what you're stuck with to start with. You know you cannot upgrade it. It's not possible. Okay. With laptops, there is a general consensus or feeling that laptops, the memory and the hard drive, both are upgradable. You can swap out those parts and upgrade it. And that was true, and that is true with the laptop that I got in that only had 4 gigabytes of memory in it. Now, it looks like to me when I look around that the 4 gigabyte models are being sold at Walmart and Costco because they're like $250, $300. Very cheap for a laptop. And you might be tempted. If you're only doing email, you go, that's all I'm doing, so why do I need more than 4? 4 will not do it. Do not buy a laptop with 4 gigabytes of memory in it. Okay, so I have one here. It had 4 gigabytes of memory in it. I go, well, I could probably upgrade it. Well, what I ran into is you have to take the back completely off of the laptop. And here is the back that I took off. And it has an interesting, what fooled me is underneath a piece of rubber here, there are multiple other screws. It's got screws along the edges, which you could see, and I took those out. But these two areas right here also had screws in them. You see the holes in them. So once I got all the screws out of it, I was able to pry the back off. My point being is I could do it. I doubt if you would want to do it or can do it, to take the back off to be able to upgrade from 4 gigabytes, which is a no-no, to more. Okay, so I did get the back panel off, and this is what I saw. Up here at the top, this shows the model number for this particular laptop. It's an HP7, and that its model number. And then I tried to show you right here see, memory modules. You see where it says memory modules? They are over right here. There's 2 slots. You can see it only has 1 module in it, and that is a 4 gigabyte module. You can add another 4 gigabyte here to get a total of 8 if you wish to. This laptop, this motherboard, supposedly will support 16. So I'm in the process of buying an 8 and an 8 to make it the maximum amount of 16. I recommend at least 8 for any Windows PC. That is an absolute minimum. 8 gigabytes of memory. Do not go less than 8. The more memory, the better. 16. Where memory comes into play is where you're running a lot of same things at the same time. You have Word going at the same time as you're doing Internet, at the same time you're editing a photograph, at the same time that you're doing an Excel spreadsheet. If you're doing multiple things at the same time, you need as much memory as you can to keep it all in memory to have any real performance at all. So I am replacing both memory modules here, which are real easy, with make a total of 16 gigabytes of memory. Okay. Down here is the battery, because it's underneath of the back cover. The old laptops, it was an external sort of module that you could push a button and the laptop would come out and you could replace it that way. On current laptops that are made by machines, they tend to embed that battery, and that's what this big black thing is. Kind of looks like a battery inside of an Apple product of some kind, an iPhone or an iPad or anything like that. The batteries are flat, just like this, and they have one major connector here. If you had a dead battery, you would have to, or take it to a technician, take that back cover off to get to this battery to replace it. That's just an aspect of modern PCs to save 25 cents. It's more than that, but to save minimal so they can give you the cheapest possible laptop, which everybody's looking for. I want a laptop, but I want to make it cheap. I don't need much. I'm only doing email. Not 4 gigabytes. All right. The other aspect of this particular one, besides having only 4 gigabytes of internal memory, it has only, I think it's a 280 gigabyte hard drive space. That is permanent storage. You can keep your files and your programs and your images and pick whatever you want to, I call it all data. Data for you, your documents, all that stuff is kept on the hard drive, and I got an arrow to it. It's over on this side. It's right here. You see this, I got a red bar here, but it's this little teeny thing setting right there. It's screwed into the top, and there is actually a screw here at the bottom, which is not being used. But this little guy right there is a 280 gigabyte solid state drive. And it lists it NVMe solid state drive. It is that type. There are various types of hard drives. I have solid state drives, but they're much larger, and I don't have one right handy. And then there are old mechanical drives that you don't absolutely want at all. They're too slow. At least do a solid state drive. But my point being is that when they built this, actually, it's only interesting to me, but over here on this big white vacant white space, that's where an old hard drive or an old type solid state drive could go if I had the proper connector for up here. But I don't have the proper connector, and I'm not sure that it would totally work anyway, so I'm not going to do it. I have solid state drives. I bought them surplus. I have like 500 gigabytes, but I don't have any of this type. So I've been looking around, and I can get like 1 terabyte drive that will fit in this space right here, even though this guy is really, really small right here. You can take a standard length NVMe type hard drive and put it in there. But again, are you going to do that? No, you're not. you're going to have to take it to a technician who can take that backup cover off and put in a new, larger hard drive if you need it, or in this case, really, the memory. Okay. Do not buy a 4 gigabyte laptop. If you think you're going to be storing a lot of stuff and you go, well, I only do email, I'm not going to store anything, then a 280 gigabyte is probably plenty for you. In this particular case that I have in front of me, the one down here, 280 probably will do it for her. Now, in her particular case, she had already signed up for 1 terabyte of cloud storage with Microsoft, OneDrive. Now, some people like that. They have everything stored in the cloud, so if her computer craps out, it's still there. Now, I don't know if she did that for that purpose, or rather, she was afraid she was going to run out of hard drive space right here in the computer because she only had 280 gigabytes. I'm suggesting to her you can dump that 1 terabyte of Microsoft Cloud storage and just put in a larger hard drive, and 1 terabyte costs used like $100, $150. That's it's too long. Do not buy a laptop with only 4 gigabytes in it. They probably can be upgraded, but not by you. Likely not, unless you're handy dandy and taking all the screws out and getting into it and swapping a memory module and buying a memory module. If you buy a 16 gigabyte memory modules new, it'd probably be $200, and you don't want to do that. Enough for today. That's all I had to say about this one. 8th of April 2026. It's probably too long, but I'll try it anyway.